Oh, hello there. So you want to know how to grow beautiful summer lettuce that grows all summer long, that doesn't bolt, stays beautiful, and never gets bitter? Check it out. Let's go. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. As promised, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to get beautiful lettuce. It's been in the 90s, almost 100s all week. And despite that hot weather, our lettuce still looks beautiful. So I'm going to share with you a few tips and tricks to getting your lettuce to stay beautiful like this and grow throughout summer. But the biggest tip I can give you before we get into the actual tips is eat it and enjoy it. No matter how heat tolerant it is, and no matter how late you start it, and no matter how much you can kind of protect it, it's still eventually going to go bad. So the best thing you can do is when it's beautiful, eat it and enjoy it. So that said, let's jump on into the first thing you can do to getting beautiful summer lettuce. The first thing we did to getting beautiful summer lettuce is we succession sowed. We didn't start all of our lettuce all at once. The reason why is because had we started it all at once, we would have started it in like early April, because that's when we started our spring stuff. You'll notice there's no lettuce in this part of our lettuce bed. That's because it's already gotten bitter, gone to seed, and we pulled it out. And this lettuce here, we started in early to mid-April. If we would have started this lettuce in early to mid-April, it would have also gotten bitter and gone to seed, so we would have had to pull it out. But because we succession sowed, not all of our lettuce was ready all at once. This is great for several reasons. One is you don't get all of your harvest all at once, so you're not completely overwhelmed. With something that's very highly perishable and has a short shelf life, like lettuce, you don't want to get it all at once, because if you do, what are you going to do with it? You're going to have like, 3-pound salads all day? No, you're not going to have that. So inevitably, there's going to be some waste. However, if you succession sow, what you're going to do is you're going to prolong the harvest over, rather than 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 months. And that's incredible. That gives you a very long prolonged harvest that's going to allow you to enjoy it longer, but also will allow it to grow later into the season. And by doing that, that's the first trick to getting summer lettuce, because we actually sowed this lettuce that you're seeing here in around the first week of June. So it's a big difference. Middle of April, first week of June, huge difference. Way less time in the garden, way less exposure to heat and sun, drought, and other stressors that can cause it to get bitter and go to seed, meaning it just stays beautiful, more beautiful longer. The second thing we did having beautiful summer lettuce is we picked varieties that did well in summer. Now this is common sense, but a lot of gardeners forget that there are heat tolerant varieties of lettuce. There are varieties that do better in spring. Those are the varieties we started with. Varieties such as Tango leaf lettuce, black-seeded Simpson, your Bib butterheads, your romaine lettuce, and things like that. Those do very well in spring. Those are tender, very sweet, and very fast growing. So we started with those. But as the summer progressed, or I guess as the spring progressed into summer, I should say, we started sowing varieties that did better in summer. And these are varieties that can tolerate some heat. Things like Slow Bolt, Red Romaine, Bronze Guard, and Oak Leaf. These are some of our favorite picks for summer because of the fact that they really do well in warm weather. Now, all varieties are going to eventually get bitter and go to seed, as I said, but these just give you kind of an upper hand, a little bit of an advantage against the hot weather, because these do just a little bit better. Now, as you can see, this Slow Bolt is by far the slowest bolting variety that we have. Some of these, like this Oak Leaf, is starting to go to seed a little bit. We're starting to kind of get to the end, even though these are heat tolerant, and even though we're almost in August, they've kind of, the heat's kind of taken its toll. So even the heat tolerant varieties will eventually go to seed, and that's why I go back to my very first tip I gave you: enjoy them while you got them. The third thing we did is we practiced high intensity spacing. Now, for those of you that have watched this channel for any length of time, you guys know that I'm a huge advocate of high intensity spacing. And the idea behind high intensity spacing is spacing your plants very closely together. Taking traditional spacing and just chucking out the window. And that's because if you were to space these lettuce plants, say 8 to 10 inches apart, like a traditional spacing guide would tell you, you'd have tons of space in between your lettuce plants. And if you're growing them for heads, sure, you may need that space to kind of keep them uniform and help them to head up properly, but we're growing these for leaves. All of these are harvested for leaves in a process called cut and come again. Basically, we just take the lettuce, we chop it off at the base, and it regrows. So since we're harvesting for leaves, the head doesn't really matter to us. And that allows us to grow super close together. When you do that, you're gonna protect the soil. And there's a lot of benefits to protecting the soil, but two of them is actually directly correlated to keeping your lettuce stress-free and growing all summer. The first one is moisture. When you're growing plants closely together, the leaves actually will shade the soil, meaning less evaporation. The less the soil evaporates means the more soil stays, or the more water stays in your soil near the plant roots. And that's great for lettuce because lettuce likes damp soil. The second thing it does is it keeps the soil cool. If the soil heats up, soil temperature has more to do with your plants going to seed than the ambient temperature. It's a common misconception. It could be 100 degrees outside, but if your soil temperature is 70 degrees, your plants are going to stay cool, calm, and collected. So, by keeping your plants spaced closely together, it's going to protect from the sun beating down on the soil and heating up the soil. It's going to protect things like wind blowing across your soil and drying it out, so water stays near your roots. And those two things are critical because lettuce likes cool soil and damp soil. That's why they do so well in the springtime. But it's still possible to grow them in the summer just while, succession planting, spacing them close together, and picking varieties that are going to do better. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure to throw a like up there. Subscribe if you haven't already. There's tons more videos like this coming out. And I know I can't be the only one that likes growing beautiful summer greens. All right, we'll catch you guys later on the next episode. I'm gonna take this inside and make a salad. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. And we'll catch you guys later.